It's great to see you here in Vegas. What is the allure of Vegas for you?
Well, it went to, it was the destination when I first started my career with the Commodores, but we had no songs.
Yeah.
So we were just building our catalog when Vegas went into its dive. We went through a period of about, let's figure out how many times we can play around the world, because we want to play as many places as we can. And then somewhere in the last 10 years, 15 years, it started growing into this, instead of exclusive place to come, it was the family, everybody show up.
For a while it
remember
was that way.
We went through that. And now it's the Sin City back to normal, you know, and it's perfect now because when the next generation wants to be here, you know, it's the destination now. It's where everybody wants to come. I don't care what country I'm in. Germany, France, Italy, you name it. The first thing they say is, I'll be in Vegas.
Yeah, it's got great brand.
Great brand.
Recognition. Some performers may come back here to revitalize their career, but you don't need that. Why are you coming back?
You know what? It's always interesting. I think I'm pretty much fascinated in the fact that the music stayed around. That's number one. And number two, 3 generations are coming to see this. In other words, I started out with mom and dad. That's my generation now.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden the kids are now showing up. And my son at 21 years old, is going, Dad, this is the coolest thing you ever did in your life. And I mean, why? Because this is a place that's always been fascinating to him. And so it's the destination. For me, I'm just amazed that the music stayed around
No kidding.
that long
Yep.
to where I can show it off to the 3rd generation. You know?
Lots of competition up and down the strip every night.
I love it.
Why should they come and see Lionel Richie?
I love it, because nobody's going to play easy but me. Nobody's going to play all night long. The good news is that I think what makes Rod, and Elton, and me, and everybody else who's there, Brittany, is that we have our catalogs.
Yeah.
And if we do it right, I think what this town loves is that when you do it right, they want to come and participate in your world, my world. You know, when I go and sit in Elton's show, I want to go see all the things I remember about my college days, and I can sing it louder than he can sing it. And same with Rod, and same. So what's happening is I think everyone wants to live that whole experience, where you were, what you were doing, and who you were doing it with. Trust me.
What are people going to hear at your show? You've told some of the other interviewers that you're going to play all the hits. Can you do that in one night?
No. Let me just be honest with you. Guaranteed, I'm going to leave out something, because always someone's going to have that song where, oh, Lionel, I can't believe it. But that's the beauty, thank God, of having, you know, a lot of songs. I think what we're going to do is find that balance between the songs that you got to have all the wedding songs. You got to do that. You got to have all the college partying songs. Then you got to have the fun things in between. And then we've already named off 2 hours right there. So if I thread it right, and then what we also do is have audibles. There might be somebody screaming something in the audience, and I'll go, guys, switch that to that. You know, and because of the age of the computer now, we can actually flip the lighting, everything quickly, and adapt to that change without making a big hassle out of it. So we have about 5 to 6 songs in audible just to call it off, to make sure we can cover the whole base.
Where do you find the energy for a show like that night after night? Do you get it from the audience?
The audience. I have not seen my show since I've been in the business. Why? Because the light's on me. So people tell me, oh my God, the lighting was amazing. And I don't know anything about it. What I remember is I've never played the same show twice, because the audience puts on a different show every night in every part of the world.
Yeah.
So when I look out in that audience, is that 5 people with afros and a mustache? Wait a minute. And that's the sorority. That's not the fraternity. In other words, they're coming not only singing like me, but they're dressing like me. It's the Rocky Horror Show. People come with their own, and it's karaoke. It's really, it's not a quiet evening. It's a loud, talking to me evening. And so when you have a crowd like that, it's almost to the point where I'm coming to see what are they going to do to me tonight.
Yeah.
And I have to be absolutely on my game to make sure that I don't leave out the best part of the show is what they're doing. So I'm bringing the
can't
camera to
please all-
film them too. You follow me?
The pop and rock and the rhythm and blues that you bring, that's your legacy. Do you bring it to the country western field, or is the country western field coming closer to pop, rock, and soul?
Well, very good answer. And there's an answer here. Very good question. The country sound now is the '80s sound. You know, in other words,
It's lyrical.
All of the musicians that when I did my album, they said you're going to have the best musicians ever when you play or record your album. I went to Nashville. All the guys that played on all night long, and they're living in Nashville now. That's number one. And number two, when someone said, "Did I go country?" No. I'm from Alabama. So Stuck on You was Stuck on You when I wrote it back then. Easy was easy. I'm a country guy. I'm from Alabama. So when I did the country album, I was so surprised to see how all of the country artists knew the songs. They said, "Lionel, you've been in Nashville my whole life."
Yeah. Last question. I too want to ask you about your reaction to Prince's death. Your contemporaries.
Yeah,
I know you told the other interviewers that you affected each other's career and you bounced off ideas off of each other. That loss has got to hurt.
Well, you know, I have to be honest with you. It hasn't quite hit me all the way yet, but it's such a void. It's such a numbness. You know.
He was a force.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are writers. Everyone, we know we're performers. We know we can perform. Writers, they're guys who can write anything. Okay, and we would spar. I mean, it's friendly sparring, but we would always check with each other. Everybody's calling. "What are you doing, Ryan?" I'll come by and see you. You're not coming out to see me. You come out to hear, you know. But he had a sense of humor. I loved him because no matter what the rules were, I would break the rules for him. In other words, they would always say in his camp, "Prince is not making, no one can make eye contact with Prince," or "No one can touch Prince today." Well, the first thing I do, I walk over to him and hug him, and he would go, "Hi, Lionel."
You broke that bubble.
I broke the bubble, you know.
Yeah.
And after a while, he just got to the point where he just knew if I was coming in the room, okay, let's go to a private room so no one else can see you do this to me.
Yeah.
So he was a family member. Honestly, he was a family member. It's a devastating loss for the fans, but just as a friend, as a contemporary, as you know, I don't even know how that's going to
Words fail.
Yeah, fail. That's exactly right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Great to meet you finally.
Dave, great.